iPhone 17, I'm very curious to see what they changed coming from the iPhone 16. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the back glass on your iPhone 17, especially if you have to remove the component attached to the back glass. Like any other iPhones, you need to remove 2 screws at the bottom before you can proceed doing anything else. The device was heated for 1 minute and 6 seconds at the highest setting on this heat gun with the air output at 50%. After that, I used a suction cup in order to start. Since the temperature is saying high temperature on the device, it means that the device is ready for the back glass removal. So like any new iPhones, I try to make sure that I remove the back glass as perfectly as possible in order to reuse the double-sided tape that Apple has installed on this device. So here I'm gonna do the same thing. I had created a small gap between the back glass and the frame of the device. Then I created another gap between the glass and the double-sided tape. Then after that, I inserted the guitar pick and started moving on the sides of the device to detach the back glass from the double-sided tape. So currently I have done half of the back glass and I needed to hit the other half of the back glass, especially where you have the cameras and the top of the device. This is what I did in 24 seconds. So now after that, I continued with the guitar pick in order to detach the back glass from the frame of this iPhone 17 completely. I can't say it enough, if the device is at the right temperature, you will minimize all the risk of damaging your device or cracking something that you do not want to crack. So like I said earlier, there is some component attached to the back glass, and this is the cable that goes from the back glass onto the motherboard. So for any back glass replacement, you need to make sure that this cable is intact and it wasn't damaged during the removal process of your broken back glass. Like I said earlier, the back glass has been removed in a perfect condition. The double-sided tape is still inside the frame of the device, so making it really easy to reuse that double-sided tape. Before you do anything, you need to remove the retaining plate that is covering all the flex cables connected to the motherboard. And after that, you need to press on the retaining plate going to the left. This is the way to remove the retaining plate. It has a small latching mechanism that makes the retaining plate latch and stayed on top of the motherboard. So right now it is time to turn the device off because I'm gonna disconnect components from the motherboard. So the first thing that I disconnected is the cable coming from the back glass and attached to the motherboard. This cable has components such as the wireless charging, the flashlight, and the microphone for the external microphone. So in your case, if you want to replace the back glass on your iPhone 17 and you buy a back glass that has only the glass, it doesn't have the component, I'm gonna show you how to remove all the components from your original back glass and transfer them onto the new one. If your back glass has already everything pre-installed, you simply need to reconnect the new one and close the device. Before I continue, I'm gonna disconnect the battery cable. You can argue that I should have disconnected the battery cable first, but I did disconnect the one coming from the back glass. Since the device is turned off, I believe there is no impact in disconnecting the cable from the back glass first, then disconnecting the battery cable. But good practice wants you to disconnect the battery cable first before you disconnect anything else. So let's jump on the back glass, removing all the components from the back glass and showing you how to transfer it on the new back glass that do not have any electrical component. So this one is relatively very easy. It looks the same as the iPhone 16, 15 and 14. On the back you can see the microphone hole and the flashlight. These two components are on the same circuitry, going back all the way to the wireless coil and then going out with that flex cable to the motherboard. So the first thing to do is to remove one screw. This time with the iPhone 17, there is only one screw to remove, and then you can remove the retaining plate that is covering the flashlight. After you have done that, you have access to the flashlight and you can start removing it. So here's how it goes. The flashlight needs to be popped out. Then you will need to remove the microphone and then keep pulling the cable all the way down to the wireless coil. Okay, for this one, I'm going to hit the back glass continuously as I'm pulling the cable. The settings here are 600 Fahrenheit and the air output is at the minimum, 10%. So the first thing that I did is to pop out the flashlight. This is the flashlight on the inside. Then you're going to use your tool in order to go below the microphone and then continue to lift the microphone and the cable. The microphone and the flashlight are close to one another. Then once you have those two components lifted, you can start pulling the cable slowly. Make sure that you're careful not to damage this cable. If you damage the cable, you will need to replace the whole thing. I'm sure that you can use alcohol in order to do this process and removing the component, but I choose to do it with heat because I do not want to leave any kind of messes on the back glass and on the cable. So compared to the iPhone 16, this is exactly the same thing, the same process. Here they did change the component and the type of material that they used in order to do this one, which is a big difference because the way I removed the whole thing on the iPhone 17 was a lot messier than what I did with the iPhone 16. So here, this is the component that sends if anything is wrong with the back glass. So if you got this component damaged, you will need to replace the whole thing. And also if the cable has any tear that makes this component not function normally, you will need to replace the whole thing. So here's how it looks after I have removed the cable from the top going to the wireless coil. The only thing left to do is to remove the wireless coil portion. So while doing that, I simply teared between the plastic covering the graphite tape for heat dissipation. And this was what I was saying. This is a lot messier than what I did with the 16. On the 16, I was able to remove the whole assembly without ever seeing a graphite tape or heat dissipation component. So either they have increased the amount of heat dissipation material on this assembly, wireless, flashlight and microphone, or simply I didn't use enough heat while trying to remove the whole thing. So both of these options can be true at the same time. So regardless, I continued with the removal of the wireless coil and I decided to try to remove the graphite tape from the top going down, but it was the same result. The graphite tape was being shown instead of coming off as one piece without leaving the graphite tape on the back glass. Okay, there is a piece of the wireless coil that is separated from the whole big wireless coil piece. So this is the one that is covered with this plastic, this black plastic. So after I remove that, I can simply lift everything all together. So here's the one with the iPhone 16. It looks perfect. So with this one, the iPhone 17, maybe you should try removing the graphite tape from the top going down and stop at the area where you have the wireless coil, and do the same thing from the bottom going up and stop where you have the wireless coil. Do this only after you have removed the flashlight, the microphone, and you have removed the cable all the way to the wireless coil. Maybe that will give the same result that I had with the iPhone 16. As you can see, removing the magnet also are really easy. If you do not have a back glass that comes with the magnet, you can remove all the old magnets that are on the original back glass and transfer them onto the new one. Okay, right now it is time for the reassembly, and I'm wondering if it is going to work fine. The flashlight, the wireless charging, and the external microphone. Since it is a lot messier than the one that I did with the 16, I'm not really sure. The first thing to do is to separate the cable that goes around the big wireless coil. When you separated those, you can add the plastic, the black plastic that goes on top of it, and keep them separated. The next step is to align the wireless coil with the magnet. Make sure that it is in the right position. Usually I would say you need to start with the top, placing the flashlight and the microphone, then put everything from the top going down. It will fall in place without any issues. So here I started with the wireless coil because the cable going on the outside of the wireless coil was out, and I placed it with my finger and held on it until I put the whole thing on the back glass. So making sure that I respected the separation between the wireless coil and the wire that goes around the wireless coil. So here's everything after the reassembly of the wireless coil, flashlight and external microphone. So now the next step is to connect the cable back to the motherboard, turn the device on and test to make sure that everything is working like normally. Testing the flashlight, as you can see it is working, no issues. And here is the wireless charging, also working without any issues. So make sure that you tested everything, especially these two, before you add the retaining plate for the flashlight. Add the screw back in. So for the graphite tape, I'm gonna add a few drops of B7000 so that everything is held in place. So right after that, you need to connect again the back glass and its component, then test everything once again before you seal the device. You don't want to seal the device and then you find out that after reassembly, the last time that you touched something went wrong. With this one, I'm going to use B7000 in order to reactivate the tape that is on the inside of the device. Here's what I did: a small layer of B7000 on top of the original tape. Make sure that you add the returning plate and the screws before you add the B7000, and right after that you can close the device. If you use double-sided tape in order to seal your iPhone 17, you will need to place the double-sided tape inside the device first, then connect the back glass, next add the returning plate and the screws. Then after that, remove the plastic covering the double-sided tape, then close the device. Apply pressure on the back glass on all four sides of the back glass for the back glass to stick to the frame of this iPhone 17. The next step is to add the screws at the bottom of the device. If something is wrong, it will send the notification for a component that is wrong or a known component, the stuff that Apple used to do. I added the returning plate for more than 30 minutes. It was like this, stayed all clamped, and the black stuff that you're seeing is the bonded double-sided tape and the B7000. In order to remove it, you need to rub it with your finger and it is going to go away. If it is difficult to get removed, you can use a microfiber cloth and rub it on the black stuff and it will get removed. So relatively the same process with the iPhone 17 as the iPhone 16. Nothing really different. Again, after closing everything, test again to make sure everything is good. If something is wrong, you will need to reopen the device.